Hi dear friends, this is Dima, your Duolingo IELTS TOEFL tutor. In this practice video, let us again practice at writing. Not academic, not any specific kind of writing, but just writing for Duolingo. Why I'm saying this is because Duolingo is less academic styled exam than IELTS or TOEFL, and this gives us a certain degree of freedom while writing, which is very good. I will now, in your presence, together with you, like discussing something, I will conjure up a short essay, let's call it an essay, on this topic. So at Duolingo, you have two, let's call them big writing tasks. This one, and also at the end of the test, write an interview or something like that, which is now being assessed and evaluated. Earlier it wasn't, but now it is, and this beauty has always been assessed, so it's important to write it because it will greatly influence your subscore of production and probably literacy also. So you know what? The guidelines, yes, those a lot of students, they want to find out some magic universal formula, a kind of a pattern that will allow them to get 120 or more, let's say, for your production. You know, I always tell, and you know it without me, that in the whole world, no matter where you live and no matter what language you write, there is this well accepted logic of public speaking or writing. Not public but individual ones. It means what? That we make some kind of an introduction. An introduction can be, like, say, a tuning introduction, but when we don't state explicitly our point of view or the main point or something, but usually this strategy is utilized when you have really a large essay and you have 40 minutes on this or 1 hour or something like that. Yes. In this case, in case with Duolingo, you have only 5 minutes, probably even less, because you will be excited. You will firstly think about what to write and so on. So in this way, you're welcome to make this introduction of 1-2 sentences only if you are sure that you will have time to answer the questions directly. If you feel that you will not do that, instead of putting in introduction some philosophical speculations, you just can state your point of view explicitly in your first introductory sentence. Then we should have the body, our body here, which will include 2 or 3 main points. Either opinions or arguments, reasons, or in case of description, some description points. By the way, you know, if to be, I think, precise and honest, even arguments are also description points, because you describe your arguments, you describe your position. So from this perspective, we can view any type of writing as a description. You see, you describe something, you describe your attitude, you describe really some features of some object. So firstly we have introduction, then the first argument or point, the second argument or point. It would be very fine to have like the last and probably the strongest reason or argument or point, but a lot of you will not do it purely because you don't have enough time. Yes. And finally some kind of a conclusion. Also, given that we have only, let's say, 4.5 minutes on this, a conclusion can be sacrificed if you're going to provide a good plump body, especially if you're a beginner. Yeah, but if not, you're welcome also to indulge the reader with your beautiful conclusion. In conclusion, you can paraphrase your intro, or you can give a separate conclusion. It depends upon the situation. But okay, from all of this, I want you to remember that please stick to this old, beaten, boring, tedious structure of intro, the first point, let's say argument, the second one, and the introduction. In 1 or 2 of your arguments, please provide an example. If you have time, an example. You can create an example. Conjure up just off the top of your head. Nobody will check your destiny, your private records or something like that. So you can create whatever you want, and it is even welcome, because Duolingo or IELTS or anything, it's not a military questionnaire or something like that. It's just your creative writing. You write what you want. Apart from those extreme cases when you write that when they ask you about is it better to be idealistic or realistic, and you say that, you know, yesterday I flew to the moon with my dog on some zeppelin or something, you know, it's maybe not a good idea, yes, because they will think that you need a consultation of a psychiatrist. In all other cases, you're welcome to create, you're welcome to speculate, you're welcome, you have a huge leeway, as they say, in your ideas, because they are interested. The graders are interested in your English, not in your outlook, points of view, your vantage points and perspectives and so on. I think you understand it, yes? Because very often from our childhood we are taught not to lie, to tell always the truth. I understand that, and it's very nice, but in this case, this is one of those few exceptions in your life where you're welcome to create something and let them like be off with them, with those graders. Okay, guys, so let's write it now. Let's read the topic first. I took it randomly. Is it better to be idealistic, aiming for perfection, or realistic, setting goals you know you can achieve? Why? Give specific reasons for your answer. A very interesting topic, a positive one, yeah, and of course it's better that when you have a certain level of English to write like this. If you are a complete beginner, probably you will not write normally because it's impossible, yes. On the other hand, you don't have to be Charles Dickens to write for, let's put it, some abstract 100 points out of 160. So what would I write about if I see something like this? Okay, I will make an intro, of course, and in my intro, I will put my opinion into the first sentence. Because, you know, the reader will understand me, he or she will feel easy with me, he will not have to decipher my twisted here, intricate message. You see, then if I feel I have time and energy, I will put the second sentence into my introduction, like expanding sentence, supporting sentence, something like that. Then I will give the first reason, because they ask me for reasons. Then the second reason. About the example, I will have a look if I have time or not, and then I will have a look also. I will just decide whether I should include a conclusion here or not. Okay. So also a very important thing is that I recommend you to be rigid about your logic here, you know, not to be very diplomatic. What do I mean here? If they ask you, is it better to be this or that, please decide in 2-3 seconds, like this or that, and write about this and support it with all your might. There is a trick of concession, it's called, when at the end you can say, although la la la, and you admit a little bit the opposite point of view, but don't please write that in your first sentence that though it's very nice to be idealistic, but often it's also nice to be realistic, because, and then you write nobody knows about what, you see. So try to be categorical, no, radical about your opinion. It's easier for your reader to understand. It's very important. Yeah. Okay, so I will click retry now. Retry, and I will have 5 minutes, and I will yeah. Also about the amount of words, some guys complain that they cannot write more than 50 words. Sometimes I write 100 words, sometimes I write 160 words, depending on my mood, depending on the question, on my mind and health conditions, something like that. Duolingo encourages your proliferant writing, so I mean that please write as much as you can. Don't be stingy on words. Nobody welcomes that in the world of creative writing. Okay, let's click retry. Even just if I get out of my, time by 10 seconds or 15, it's okay. Okay, so firstly, I decide idealistic, perfection, or realistic. For example, I have decided to be positive, and I will say about idealistic. So, okay, in my view, oh, I'm sorry, yes, in my, just a moment, okay. In my view, it is absolutely gorgeous to feel idealistic about the surrounding world and about your targets, let's say, or objectives, yeah, objectives as well. You remember about the expanding sentence. Yes, I realize that this statement will cause a considerable degree of incredulity. You know, if we include some uncommon words, it's very nice. Incredulity, I consider incredulity among okay, among a lot of guys, but still I have always endeavored to be a dreamer in my life. And now, for example, and now I'm going to explain why. You see, I have made a big introduction. I have spent almost 2 minutes on this. On the other hand, you know, it looks attractive. So firstly, we all innately want, let's say, desire happiness in our lives. Okay, let it be simple. So if we stop dreaming, if we stop dreaming, or even daring to sway at let's say huge goals in our minds, we deprive ourselves from feeling happy by default, irrespective. Oh my god, just a minute. Sometimes I don't see those spelling mistakes because I'm looking at the keyboard. Irrespective of the actual outcomes. Okay, secondly, I hate this, and we use an idiom, run of the mill thinking patterns. That are cherished by low intellect individuals. It is much more arduous and still way more rewarding to blow, let's say to blow your own horn, oh my god, your own horn of mentality, than to succumb to the opinions of the herd out there. Yes, you see. Remember that I'm just conjuring it up, so it's not obligatory my just point of view. You don't already see, yeah. Okay, you see. So, in theory, I'm out of time here. So I have produced 100, let's say almost 40 words. If I didn't comment or something, I would produce, I tell you, 150 or 160, and I would include, let's say I would have included here a conclusion. You see, I didn't have time for any example, but given that they don't ask me, firstly, and secondly, it's a very philosophical topic, so here I can be exempt from providing those examples. Yes, probably I have made a spelling mistake somewhere because I was looking at the keyboard mostly. Yeah, you know, if you can type not looking at the keyboard, you're a big man here, or a big lady, yes. But I cannot do that. I type more or less fast, but not so fast as those guys who can type automatically. So you see, guys, I have provided an introduction. The first reason, second reason. The introduction, probably I have blown it like out too much. On the other hand, you're welcome to do that. You know, if you feel that, you will have sufficient time to do the to make the first here, this first reason and the second one. Don't please sacrifice your reasons for the introduction, because they ask you for give specific reasons, you see? Okay, but you see I have produced 138 words, which is more than enough for you to get a decent score. And I was thinking out loud something. If I was focused on this, I would have written better. Yes, I tell you. Better is a relative concept, but so I encourage all of you to feel that you're able to write something off the top of your head, and at the same time, it will look wonderful, more or less wonderful. And I'm sure that for this one, I will be given a normal grade at Duolingo. Over 100 is for sure. I don't know their logic and algorithms, but at least, not less than 110, something like that. I'm sure of that. If you have some ideas that differ from mine, please, you're welcome to share that in the comments, and we will discuss. Okay, guys, if you need a professional tutor to help you get ready for Duolingo, IELTS, or TOEFL, you're welcome to contact me. I am always happy to help, for some compensation, of course. Sometimes I even help guys to raise their score like during 1 week. Sometimes we do like that. So we have done a lot of feats in this field during my career, and so I should, I think, make a separate video about that to encourage you, to motivate you. So our feats of intellect while preparing to Duolingo, IELTS, or TOEFL, there's sometimes one of the problems that you have is that low self-esteem. I mean, about your intellect or about your speaking and writing ability, something like that. So we work also on that while preparing, yeah, because such a psychological aspect. Okay, guys, so if you need me, you will find contacts in the description to this video. I wish you success at Duolingo and see you in our next video.